Welcome, we're live. My first introductory lesson. My name's Stan. Sometimes the martial arts masters call me Stan-san. Got my lamb's anti-radiation hat on and my black hoodie. We're going to be talking Qigong training together. Hey, I've got one viewer. So what is Qigong? Qi is just energy. It's very famous, probably the most famous activity in the world, but it's just not well known in the West, in America. I mean, people are doing it more and more. Yoga is, of course, much, much more popular. What is Qi? It just means energy. And Gong, it's like working with energy. Going to be talking about two different types, Taoist and Buddhist style, as well as fast ways of giving you this knowledge and me this knowledge. We'll train together sometimes. And if I'm diligent about it, and if I'm good, I might be announcing places that I'll be teaching and training with you guys. I will motivate myself to practice, and I'll motivate you guys to practice. Talking more and more about Qigong definitions as we go along. But in this first lecture, just talk about some basic stuff. I haven't even gotten into a chair or how to sit yet. And I'm not going to do too much of that today. I'm going to be lecturing, though, probably a while, talking about some basic points. But before you train, you would have a bell like this, Pavlovian dog style. Kind of announcing to your brain that it's time to train. What's the best thing about Qigong? You don't even have to walk that good, and you can lose weight. In fact, you could have some pretty bad injuries to your knees and back and still do it. Again, the two different types are Taoist. Taoism is a shamanic ancient religion, the way out of China, and Buddhist style. Taoist style Qigong is holding in the breathing, getting your lungs really hot, like that type of thing. Holding in, maybe holding in for 5, exhaling for 10, or in 5, holding 5, and then exhaling 10. Never with your mouth open, though. Everything's through your nose. Excuse me, the Buddhist style is there's no holding of the breath at all. And it's like hand mudras, or up and down, or like that, cross-legged style. To give an example of how this affects your body, maybe you might be doing a kind of bellows breathing and energy coming out, and that would be done by Master Dharma. And the Buddhist style is the Buddha, the prince, Siddhartha. He's thin. He's not expanding the stomach. He's not letting the lungs get hot and physical. Exactly with that style. The Falun Gong people do that Buddhist style, which when I go outside and train with you guys, I'll show the different steps. Sometimes they come to New York City, the Falun Gong. They are controversial in China, but they do movements like that. We'll be going into that over time. Going to have to tell some people about this channel. Again, my name is Stan, sometimes known as Stash, and I walk with the master, Stan-san. So everybody's got that. So again, I'm just really, we're talking real basic. So before you sit down to practice, which I'll be showing, I'll have some chairs that I recommend for people. We'll go outside. You just announce with this. I'll leave in the liner notes, but you can Google this. The spelling of Taoist or Taoism, Taoist. It's one style that's very physical, getting the lungs hot. In 5, hold 5, out 10. You're always going to be exhaling more than you're inhaling. Of course, since I'm not demonstrating these things, it's a little weird to start talking about them. So those are just the basic points so far. You start with the bell, 2 types of training. Now I'm calling this street Qigong because I'm going to be doing my own hand mudras and my own shortcuts and my own methods. Now, am I as good as anybody from Asia? Not really at all. But if you're from America, Great Britain, whatever, you may kind of get what I'm saying because I'm coming from the Western philosophy or Western outlook. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And now some of you right now will shut this off and say, I want to learn yoga from a guy from India, and I want to learn Qigong from a guy from China, Korea, Japan. I absolutely understand that. Sometimes, though, it's you actually learn something with someone who doesn't know as much and isn't from that culture, but maybe I will have it broken down for you in a way that us Westerners can understand. I'm going to have weird lectures on this channel anyway, some Western esoteric stuff as well. So that's the part of the first message. The other thing is, you see, I'm wearing this beat up hoodie here, and this is a perfect thing that's going to be with our Qigong style. And I'll give over some parts of my different lineages in a moment. So you don't think I'm just some guy who went down to the New Age bookstore, got some books, and is a good talker, a relatively good talker. So the hoodie comes over, and you want to get hot. This is not Wim Hof, the Iceman. This is not the Iceman. This Qigong, you're getting hot. You're getting pretty hot. So the hoodie traps in the energy, the Qi. It gets you real hot. So you're holding the breathing. You don't want to get COVID? Do this kind of thing. Any symptoms and no big fever come on, put a big heavy blanket over this, hold the breathing, or just get as hot as you can. Get the hot heating pad out. Don't recommend electricity usually. Get this hoodie on and sweat it out before the COVID gets bad, right? Or any type of flu or respiratory thing. Sometimes you can beat it if you get real hot. But again, seek medical advice. And this is no comment on any type of cure on that. I'm just talking about related respiratory ones. Check with your MD for real treatment and anything like that. As a disclaimer, you got it? Got something here. If you're feeling up for it, it might be a remedy you might try. You know what I mean? Okay. This other thing is, before the training, you might want to immerse just your hands and feet, or just your hands, in decently warm water. That's going to make your practice that much better. And then you're going to go through it. Again, this is weird. I haven't even gone over this stuff, but we're talking already generalities. So enough of that. It'll probably be better. I'll have to show some breathing sessions with you guys and do them together. Let's get into some lecturing about some stuff. We'll go for a little while. Introduction. Again, this is going to be called Street Qigong. Hope anything makes sense thus far. Again, Qi is just energy. And Ki is energy from Japan. And Gi is energy in Korea. Prana in Hindi for you guys who do yoga. Okay, so let me see. Can you see me? Hope you guys can hear me. So the next step is actually before before even washing hands and feet, you're going to want to do the bow. So it's sun and moon, like that. That's your bow. Never lean forward, you get kicked in the face. Sun and moon, or some people call that Kung Fu salute. Sun and moon, very good. You're never leaning in like the old James Bond movie where the guy bows and he kicks him. Sun and moon. Different things are different with various cultures, you guys. So, north, south, east, and west. North, south, east, and west on the compass for the west, and east, west. North and south in the Asia, I believe. Let me double check that. My main point is Asia, it's east, west, south, north. The Western is north, south, east, west. East, west, south, north. In Asia, in the west, north, south, east, west. So that's right away. We have a difference in perceiving things. Okay. Right away. That's why when a lot of the guys who are really good in MMA or popular fighters or sensible guys, I guess, practical guys, they don't want to hear about chi. They don't want to hear it. They think it's nonsense. Give me an arm bar. Give me they'll choke you out. Of course. Okay. They train hard on that, and they know what they're doing in that. But, they're being a little bit rigid when they say there's no such thing as chi, right? And this first point is, my main point is it's just different. Okay. We're talking about differences in perception. So it's weird to say there's no such thing as chi if you're from Idaho or something. Okay. There are many different types of chi. You have wind chi, chi from the dead, chi from the sun, chi from the moon. Energy. All different types. Different cultures are different. For instance, sleep in your culture. Chi and sleep. Koreans, for instance, like to sleep facing east. Mongolians might like to sleep alongside a river with that energy. And Koreans might like the window and the door to face south. Topographically, the mentality of countries change. So China, if the Mongolians or other cultures were attacking from the south, they decided to, for instance, build the Great Wall, magnificent Great Wall. So again, Korean people sometimes sleep with their head facing south. People in America don't sleep. We look at the internet all night and stuff. Topographically speaking, or geographically, how you're set up. Japan is an island, and they feel kind of trapped. So they, martial arts wise, might attack forward. In the calendar year, we think about the solar calendar. Here's another funny cultural difference. In the West, Groundhog Day. In the East, Frightened Frog Day. So, Asians' perspective in the martial arts, meditation. Continuing the idea of topical influence on the martial arts. The Chinese continent is wide open, so their movements sometimes are wide. Japanese like forward with the samurai sword. Forward, man. Chinese, all wide. They got beautiful wide movements. Korea, they got a peninsula feeling. So they got a temper like Italians, perhaps. They live in a peninsula. They feel like their back's against the wall. Korean might be a little more Western in some senses. So also there is the two divisions in the martial arts that are interesting to talk about that pretty much connect to your age. So if you're over 40, you might start thinking about, Aikido to Qigong up. Aikido to Qigong up. In other words, as you get older, if you're 60, 50, 60, 50, 60, 70, you might not want to start with hard style karate and weightlifting or, the demonstration team. You got to be light, or wushu demonstration team, or even rolling, right? They call it rolling with the jujitsu. Maybe not. You might, if you're that age, you might start. Okay, just go right to the internal martial arts or internal meditation, and go from there. Better. That the type of things you might be interested in is the qigong Taoist style, and there's some martial arts that's internal related. Bagua. You may want to practice Bagua walking. Qigong, maybe Qigong only when you're 70 to 80. When you're 15 to 20, 25 to 30, weightlifting, karate, boxing, things to make your body hard is more appropriate then. Qi, ki, spirit. So the use of qi for war sometimes became applicable. It's not exactly unknown. Now, there's a lot of charlatans and weirdos that have these masters in there. They're just, forcing out the qi, and their students are all going flying. Some of it's probably hypnosis, some of it's fraud. But there is real aspects of energy involved in movements like the iron palm, Ooh, right? They had these suits of armor, and at some epoch of history, they would hit with the iron palm as to still be able to hurt the attacker. So the Taoist style is like shamanic, in the mountains. Beautiful drawings of the high caves like Wudon, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, up in the mountains, fog, spirituality, looking at bears to see what type of berries they eat, and extraordinary things like acupuncture, acupressure, pressure point usage. Boom. Don't try that at home. So the highest level training is related to a yogi or swami or a Taoist master. Things involving chanting, communicating with spirits, fasting. In general, I don't mean to stereotype, but women are more psychic. Their pulse is kind of low. Sometimes really, really intense fasting, in theory, might be dangerous for them. This is not involving any kind of political outlook or some type of sexism or something like that. It's just the lower pulse, can make long-term fasting hard. But hey, it's a free country. If you go out and learn it, you might want to do it, and you might be better. But in general, women are already very intuitive. It's more of a problem for men, or in cultivating that ability. There's a lot of dangers involved with fasting and meditation. Fasting and meditation connected to higher Qigong activity is the highest of all the martial arts, probably. I'm going to probably do gab about this a few times. I have fun talking about that. But fasting and meditation, chanting, there's actually a possibility of spirit possession. Spirit possession, and there's a danger of it. So there was a French scientist who experimented with qi on an island and mixed qi with music. Attempts to change people's behavior. So you don't want to play like rock and roll music when you're doing calm qigong exercises. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Allegedly, people started to change and act like animals. They reverted back to their basic DNA. They became dogs and lizards and stuff. Could this happen? I think so. So, different types of Chinese medicine and herbs and Qigong can help people dealing with bad spirits. Again, beware of mixing Qigong with music. Could revert to your other self, your monkey self, your snake self, your primitive self. Remember that in Altered States? Guy goes in the sensory deprivation tank with some LSD. He reverts back to his primitive self. A feng shui practitioner or master, feng shui, is a person who can sense water and qi and set up your home so the qi moves correctly. And in theory, your life is more prosperous and your living conditions are more comfortable because you know how that qi or the energy flows in your house. Feng shui was a big fad, and I think still is in the West. In the East, it's of course part of culture. Cats are natural feng shui masters. They can sense yin qi or energy and qi. If you live near a big water current, you might want to consider putting down a big copper plate as to deal with it. Other negative influences is qi from the dead. Yin qi is cold qi. Yin and yang. We'll do the whole thing on just that soon. Qi from yin qi is cold qi. Yang qi is warm qi. Qi from the earth or qi from hell. Cats can sense dead spirits. This is a form of communication. Dead spirits. Other forms of communications that aren't very well known to us, that are on a higher level. The world famous ninja assassins are highly trained in this activity as well. They're more yogi than we think of, a Qigong master. The legendary ninja assassins, or their equivalent in Korea or China as well, they have similar people. I think the ninja phrase is just more known than the others. Low frequency communication, that's how they communicate when they're doing their assassinations without revealing their position. Low frequency communication. So, if you were to witness a dam and a river in mist and see a bunch of dead animals in the area, unfortunately, and it's just we're talking case study here, then there might be a powerful electromagnetic field in the area and affects the heart rate on weak animals. So does that play a role? And we're talking about this EMFs and 5G Wi-Fi. I definitely think so. I feel the effects sometimes. I'm wearing a hat right now. Lambs. I do recommend it. Lambs. 26 minutes in our first lecture. Hope you guys are digging this. So to recap, I'm going to be lecturing pretty soon. We talked about topographical influences on the martial arts styles of the East. China's big, so they do big movement. Japan, they feel their back is against the wall, so they always attack forward like the samurai sword. And Korea, something in the middle. Sorry to hear about the passing of Fred Ward, who played Remo Williams. His master Chun, is very similar to the man who was my teacher for many years, my Dr. Kim, Myung Chill Kim, because he was from the North Korea, and Master Chun actually is, I believe, played by Joel Grey. So to recap, this is the hoodie, and this is going to be called the Street Qigong, and I hope to be practicing with you guys a lot. Just give a lecture to put your minds in it, give you guys a difference. This isn't thinking between East and West. I put out a little thing. I really admire guys who do martial arts like MMA and all that, but I do think that they sometimes disregard or kind of are weary, or there's charlatans involved in it, so they hear the word chi and they freak out. They go, that doesn't work. What works is science. An armbar works. This, that works. Of course. But it's not realistic to think that there isn't effective internal martial arts and Tai Chi and all that. Maybe what they're thinking of, a guy, really like a weightlifter, jacked as hell, and, professional guy training 5, 6, 7, 7 days a week or whatever, getting paid to train. Can you counter the guy with Tai Chi movement? I mean, I don't know. You're over 50, 60 years old. What do you want? Nothing, though? Maybe you'll get a chance. Maybe the MMA guy jumps you and you do your Tai Chi, man. Well, I don't know. Better than nothing, right? Again, sorry for that banter, but it's just different, I go off on tangents, guys. All right, this is lesson 1. I'll be back soon. I'm going to tell people about this, and going to lead up a bunch of lectures, and then we're going to lead up to our point where we practice together and try to motivate each other. Peace out. I'm your street Qigong instructor. Have a great day. Talk soon.